Welcome back to another episode of the Wrinkly Brain podcast. This is a SmoothBrainEDH affiliated podcast where we like to goof and gaff and talk about the Commander format. I'm your host Jason, joined today by my two guests. First is Cody, making his return to the podcast. Cody, let everyone hear your lovely voice.
Hello. How are you? Okay, I'm having a stroke. Definitely
the stroke is tradition.
He's overthinking it. Shit.
There's the cringe shit.
You want to do that one more time?
No.
That's
For anybody wondering, yes, in the script it does actually say, Cody says hi, maybe some cringe shit. We did it.
Hello, how is everyone, is what I would like to say if I was a functioning human being.
That's not allowed. And second, we have Chandler, making his first appearance on the podcast. Chandler, please say hi to everyone.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hello.
We've got the Transylvanian one today. Like, what is this?
It's me, the voiceover guy. Also the
voiceover
editor.
Guy.
Hi.
Oh my goodness. He's here. The editor is here. Yeah, but you don't edit this podcast. That's me.
I used to.
You did do some of that. That do be true, though. So, for this episode, this one's been a long time coming. So, first of all, we're finally comfortable to the point where we're willing to talk a little bit more about where we're from and what led to the creation of this channel. So, like, I have two of the original channel members here to talk about this, and we wanted to offer some insight into getting started in content creation, how long it takes for us to make videos, and what you might need to do to get started in content creation. So congratulations, welcome to the SmoothBrainEDH origin story.
Welcome, everybody.
I hope you're along for the ride, because this is going to be an interesting thing for the veterans of the channel to hear about.
Mm-hmm.
But a dog on every single one of them.
Yeah. And, like, so this is important. Like, obviously, for people listening to the podcast, you hear me very often. But, like, I'm not an original member of the channel. These guys are. They've been around the entire, 2.5, 3 years at this point?
That's a great question, actually. I believe it's 2.5. I'm going to do a quick double check while we do that.
Yeah. I didn't formally join the channel until, like, January of 2022.
First upload was November 15th, 2020.
And we joined on October 13th of 2020.
Yeah. So channel's only been around for 2 years and some change. 2 years and some change. So let's get into it. Let's start off. What is the SmoothBrainEDH origin story? Let's start with the Dawn of SmoothBrainEDH.
Chandler, would you like to go ahead and detail out some of the founding members?
Well, you see, there's me, Chandler. There's you, Cody. Obviously, we have the two co-hosts here, Ethan and Cameron. We had a couple other people who are no longer with us today. But yeah, that was about it. It's just a few of us.
Funny enough, when we initially proposed the idea, it was kind of a group effort, but one thing that plagues our play group, as I'm sure we'll discuss later on, is that we're very, very horrible about saying that we're going to do something and then putting that on the back burner for the next 7 years. So we'd mentioned making a YouTube channel quite a little bit, quite a few times, I'd say, as well as a podcast. I mean, God, I think we talked about that more than anything, and it all happened eventually, but right during the peak of COVID, I think we all had a Discord call, and we just kind of decided to do it. And we'd mentioned it, and I had just got fed up and made the channel and said, all right, well, here's what we're going to do. Let's all get together and let's have a discussion about it. And there was, I think, 13 people who we initially sat down and said, we'd like to create this channel. This is our play group. Would you be interested in doing this? And a couple people said yes, and a couple people were like, maybe, but I have some time constraints, and it shook up a little bit, but we started, I believe, with right at nine members. And then we've gained some and we've lost some over the years, but the founding members, we really didn't know what we were getting into. So we kind of sat down at a local restaurant and we happened to be trying to discuss some of the details of it, and Chandler, our lovely editor here, decided that he was going to be a big dingus, like he typically is, and he sent a meme to me, and don't quote me directly on what the meme was, but I believe it was the one where it's like, you can't hurt me, your words can't do anything, my brain is so smooth they simply slide right off. And like a bolt of lightning, it hit, and we decided that that was going to be the channel name. And so I made the account instantaneously, and I was like, all right, this is what we are. Everybody else was like, hold up, maybe we should think about it. And I was like, nope, too late. We're stuck. This is us now.
He already did it. He made the channel and everything. It was like, we're doing this now. The end.
Stuck with it.
It represents us quite well, though.
I forced everybody to get a lobotomy, and now we are the smoothest around.
It's like jelly up there. It's great.
You have jelly up there? I don't have anything.
Mine's more like pudding,
I
but
feel
it's
like
okay.
if you could peer directly in, it is just a gecko eating a banana leaf.
Mm-hmm.
It is nothing that's up there. There's like, you know when you look at a catfish and they're fresh out of the water, their eyes hold so much information, but there's not a thought behind them. That's what I look like, guaranteed every day.
Yeah. So with this channel, we had 9 people starting out. We went pretty quick on getting that name, but we had some delays going on. What was the understanding of like the guiding philosophy of what did we want with this channel? What was the goal?
Well, our number one thing from the very start was, number one, we're a group of friends playing EDH. Number two, we're a YouTube channel. And we try to hold that up nowadays.
I mean, we're pretty successful in holding that up. We value that everybody is equal in that this was just for fun. This was never intended to be a career for us. This was never intended to be something more than just us having very enjoyable games and having a ton of fun. And we just wanted to kind of share that with individuals. And we were heavily inspired, like people, especially playing with Power. I mean, how many EDH players don't know of playing with Power? I mean, we were pretty heavily inspired. So as we started moving forward, we just wanted to be a group of friends to have casual, not very intensive gameplay, nothing that's obscenely sweaty, and just kind of share that with everybody. It was never meant to be something just insanely crazy. But now we've grown in subscriber count, and we're growing in channel members, and we're taking production a lot more seriously. But at the heart of it, the philosophy remains the same. We're just here to share really smooth moments from our games with everyone.
Would you say the smoothest plays with the biggest brains?
I would say that, actually. Chandler, give us one for the podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of SmoothBrainEDH, where we make the smoothest plays with the biggest brains. Today, we're on the Wrinkly Brain podcast with Jason and Cody.
What an amazing.
There you go.
I should have had you do the intro. I really should have.
Roll it back.
Oh, love it.
All right. So this is probably going to be one for the people who are really interested in making content. You know, if you doing it yourself or if you've got a group that you're working with, one big thing that people often ask each other is, what equipment did we start with? Like, how far down the rabbit hole did we go on getting premium production equipment?
There's not much stuff that we have today that we didn't have at the beginning. I went to college for media production, so I already had all of the light equipment, a big-ass tripod. The only thing we really needed to buy was the little tripod arm that holds it over the table for us. Back then, we were using a shitty little DSLR. It's hilarious, too, because with how SD cards work, they stop recording after they hit a certain file size. So we had to set it. We figured it out. Every 12 minutes, we had to set a timer, and while we were playing, it would go off, and I'd have to climb up on a chair and stop recording and start again. It was so stupid. And, you know, we're playing like an hour and a half long game. We have to do that so many times. But yeah, now, the only difference between then and now is really we swapped that camera out for a GoPro, which is infinite times better. So much better.
We use GoPro Hero 7,
7
right?
is what I have, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you need a big arm. You need a GoPro Hero 7.
Couple of LED
A little bit of
panels,
lighting is
yeah.
always
Two
welcome.
studio lights, I believe, is what we use. And it wouldn't hurt to have a third, but I think 2 is fine.
Yeah, we just got one on each side of the table.
Yeah. We may end up doing a different camera at some point, but for the years that we've been around, I mean, the DSLR and the GoPro have served us very well for what we've wanted. Everybody's under the misconception that you have to have a great camera. It's got to be $2 to $3 grand, and while that's nice, but it's not the most necessary thing, especially for starting out, especially starting equipment.
Yeah, and I also remember.
And on top,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I also remember early days. Nobody ever remembered to bring a freaking playmat. So I own like 9 playmats now, and everyone, you probably see them a lot on the channel. So,
yeah, it's worth noting.
I guess at this point,
it's worth noting for that tripod. You do want to counterbalance most often than not for certain tripods. We just have a bag of sand for that.
It's a sandbag. It leaks
bag.
In the trunk of my car all the time. I hate it.
But that is something that if you do listen to this and we highly recommend people if you're interested in content creation, just seek it out and start it. But you're probably going to want a sandbag.
Yeah, it was speaking of the sandbag. It was funny because I was like, "Oh my god, I forgot to fill up the sandbag." And Cody was like, "I got a pile of sand outside." And I was like, "What the hell?" And so yeah, we just filled it up.
Don't dox my sand pile habits.
Yeah, and on top of that, right, this is for the in-person recording stuff. For the webcam-based stuff, it's not too complicated overall. Most of us have one mechanical arm, and the usual webcam that we work with is a Logitech C922, right?
Yep, that is the most common one. I've got the StreamCam Pro. It was expensive, but I got it on sale.
What one did you gift to me, Chandler?
That was the Razer Kiyo. It comes with a built-in light, but the light isn't actually that good for recording because it heavily reflects on the cards because it's top down. So.
Which is why you tend to not see me on webcam recordings. I will be upgrading my setup so that way I can be attentive to that. But for the time being, I'm going to basically shine a flashlight and ask my cards how fast they've been going tonight and how much they've drank.
No, officer, it's hi, how are you?
Yeah. So it doesn't take a whole lot to get started up. There is a couple $100 of equipment involved here, but like if you're doing some basic webcam stuff and you just want one webcam, there you go. You just buy a $70-$80 webcam and an arm for $20 and you're good to go. Also, recording software. Now, Chandler, you use Premiere Pro, right?
For editing, yes.
Yeah. Is there any other software that we recommend using aside from like for streaming? Just use OBS. Like it's that good. Don't worry about it.
What do you use to edit the podcast?
I use 2 things. I use Audacity for editing the audio directly, and then I use DaVinci Resolve for the video component.
DaVinci?
Yeah. I remember seeing a tweet from, I believe it was Phil Gallagher from Thrabe and You talking about the difference between the two of them, and he was just like, just grab Adobe if you're able to afford working with Premiere Pro, like just grab Premiere. If you can't afford it for the time being, yeah, DaVinci's fine. It gates how quickly you can render your videos. But I will also say that is very much gated behind your own PC's capabilities, because my old PC, it took about 50 minutes for me to render a video, and now it takes 7 minutes for me to render a video on my new PC. So,
Chandler, I think one thing worth mentioning is what mic do you use to record your voiceover for the videos?
When I first started, I used just a Blue Yeti. Jason actually has that now. I shipped it to him.
Yes.
Because I upgraded to the HyperX Quadcast. And this thing looks sick, by the way. Jason, put a picture up. Thank you.
No.
Looks like alien technology.
Mm-hmm.
Or users, if you want to, you can Google it yourself and save Jason the existential crisis.
No.
Yes, please.
No.
And then, since we're kind of still on the technical side of things, there's one more big thing to talk about, which is, yes, you're working with a channel. This is an entity. It is recognized either for tax purposes or business purposes. There's finances involved here one way or another. What did we do to get our stuff started?
Financing, luckily, like we said before, starting equipment wasn't too difficult for us to get. We do pay our editor, Chandler. We pay him money. He takes money out of channel proceedings and
cards.
And cards.
And favors of varieties.
I tell you, man, I am like so favored out from Chandler these past 2 years. It's crazy. But no, for the most part, YouTube over the years with its rise has made taxes so much more bearable. Because that's really the main thing is what is your taxes like? They send you the form. You are able to fill it out. I believe they withhold taxes out of channel proceedings, don't they, Chandler?
They do not.
They do not. So yeah, that's something that you have to. That's something you have to do. The form is very helpful in what you do, but you need to know it's the same as if you own your own business. It's the same as if you were doing, self-promoted content of different varieties, perhaps through different apps. You'll have a 1099. There are multiple things you could do to kind of offset that. Business meetings. If there's food involved, that is something you can use as tax write-offs for your business. But for the most part, YouTube has really refined its way of more or less handling its tax situation, because it did used to be quite hefty and complicated, and now it's much easier. You get the form, and it's just like an equation. You plug the numbers, you see how much you owe the government or the government owes you, and then you move on from there.
Yep. Easy enough. It's not too much worry to it. If you're a sole proprietor, like you own the whole thing is owned by one person, like just attach it to your bank account. It's fine. Otherwise, you can make a separate bank account if you want to and get a card for it. That's fine.
I would recommend,
but you don't have to.
I would recommend, if it's its own entity, to avoid impacting your personal credit score, I would make a separate account for it. And kind of it limits your liability in case something wacky happens. Not saying that's going to happen. I don't believe that it ever has happened, but it is also worth mentioning that a great way to handle your taxes, if you are worried at the end of the year or the beginning of the fiscal period for the United States, some of our listeners are worldwide, some of our viewers are worldwide. For us, we do have to do our taxes, no later than, I believe, sometime in April, the cutoff period. It is almost worth doing, having that money drafted to a separate checking account. And if you are concerned about taxes, it is a general rule of thumb that 25% of whatever you earn is going to be taxed out. If you set up an account to auto draft 25% of whatever your channel proceedings are and keep that within a secondary account, that can almost be used just for your taxes at the end of the year. Sometimes people do that. That's easier. Sometimes it's not easier. It really depends on the individual for that. If you do have a secondary account, if it is linked to the entity of your channel, that does open the doors for some credit card promotions, some things you can do there. It is very much knowing what you are capable of, knowing your numbers, and divulging whether or not you should ascertain to do this or that. But I would recommend anybody that starts out to not get caught off guard by your taxes. I would recommend that you take 25% out of every bit of channel proceedings that you receive in order to cover that. Because if you start it and you're not aware that you will likely owe money, it can be a shock. It can catch you off guard, and you don't ever want to be in trouble with the Internal Revenue Services. They're scarier than anybody else in the country.
Gang and firm, IRS is scary. All right, and with that's a lot of the getting started stuff. One more thing I want to talk about is obviously we are SmoothBrainEDH. We make EDH content. That was pretty set out from the beginning. But what were some of the early video ideas and content we wanted to make while it was just us? We were experimenting. What did we do?
Man, I remember when we first started, and it was just an idea for us. Mm-hmm. Cody and one other guy, they were dead set on being a CDH channel for a little while there. And Me and some of the other guys were like, oh, I mean, CDH is fine. We could do some of that, but we'd also like to do casual content. So there was a little bit of a scuffle there at like the very beginning. But no, yeah, no, I remember one of our first videos was a pack opening when Commander Legends came out. It is our worst performing video. I pulled a Jeweled Lotus
like
in
300 views.
I pulled a Jeweled Lotus in it.
That was my idea. I'll admit to that one.
Mm-hmm.
That was not my brightest moment and not my smoothest moment ever either. But it was an idea. We were going to do it. We talked about doing legacy content. I think it's been mentioned in a couple podcasts. Our entire pod of players were originally legacy players for Magic the Gathering. And we talked about doing some offshooted legacy content for a brief week. I think, and somebody, I think it was Cameron Tyler, actually. It may have been somebody else, but I believe it was Cameron, suggested we do Pioneer content. And then, other than the pack opening, I think that was it. Now Jason, I'm going to throw him under the bus just because Chandler threw me under with the pack opening. He wants to do Dan. That has nothing to do with the original video ideas, but I just felt like I should throw that in there.
Bro, I don't want to play it on the channel. I just want to play Dan.
I don't know about that. Ethan may want to. I don't know. Might be something.
Dude, that is like a short or something. Just like this format's so dumb, but I love it.
But no, early videos, we really didn't, as far as like when we were talking about casual, we just kind of wanted to do things that we liked seeing other people do, and we wanted to improve upon them or take our own idea to it. So I think we did, set releases are obviously, that's something that we wanted to do starting from the beginning. But I think at one point we talked about doing an anime themed video. I don't believe we ever got around to that, but we sat around and just spitballed ideas for a while. Some stuck, some didn't. The Pack Legends opening packs continues to be my darkest day in SmoothBrain history.
Mm-hmm. We've also got, but like some of the ideas aren't that bad as well, right? Like the whole reason for doing that pack opening video was you open the packs and you build your you build your deck around whatever you opened. So it was kind of a way of semi-randomizing new commanders to play with, which was very cool. And I like that. Yeah,
we kind of took the premise of a pre-release actually when we did that. We kind of wanted to really show off cards from the set, and we didn't want somebody just to pick obviously the best four. We wanted to see how resourceful somebody was if they got quote unquote a lesser commander or a less strong commander. So it was a unique idea, and we may revisit something like that in the future, but I don't know if the full pack opening was necessarily required. I think it was just something we tried and didn't stick, but
yeah. And that pretty much covers like the beginning stuff. Obviously, if you're going to make your own channel, just play the type of content you're interested in. So especially if you're trying to do this for fun, if you're trying to do this for monetization, play your meta. Like, sorry, but that's often how it goes for trying to do it for monetization. But so moving into the next stage of SmoothBrainEDH, which we have called here Adolescent SmoothBrainEDH, we've made it out of the nest. We're taking a few flights here and there, but things are still difficult and things are changing. So, Chandler, tell me a little bit about some of the early changes that happened when we finally got our legs under us, but yeah.
It did take a second. I mean, I guess the first thing we did was upgrade that damn camera. And that helped a lot. But it actually did have to go through... Oh, we had to go through... I bought an entire laptop so I could use like OBS and an Elgato to like try to record that way. And then I was like, wait a minute. Just slap this GoPro up there. And long story short, I bought an entire gaming laptop to try to record our stuff. And yeah, I still use it, so it wasn't a bad thing. But, and yes.
It could have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, we had some channel members who have left. It's for different reasons. Sometimes it's differences of opinion on where to take the channel. One of the big ones that we are particularly worried about, and we are always concerned about this, is burnout.
Oh, yeah.
We've had, 4 members depart from the channel at various points, and 2 of them left due to burnout?
I believe that's correct, yeah. We had the original 2. One was a difference of opinion. The second one was time constraint schedules and conflicting interest. He wanted to pursue a different TCG as well as Magic, and so they conflicted unfortunately with their timing. So we wished him nothing but the best moving forward. The other two members, they haven't left. I wouldn't say leave is the correct thing. They've taken a step back, and one is returned. One is returned to the channel. The other one is still taking a step away and figuring some stuff out and trying to resolve the burnout, because realistically that is the most dangerous thing when you start a channel. Chandler talked about kind of things we did to upgrade. We started taking it a lot more serious. We started to do meetings. We started to do scheduling events, quote unquote, scheduling recordings. And that does take a serious time commitment. And the jump between meeting up every so often, banging a couple games out to, hey, we're going to be here this day, we're going to record this and this. That jump was a little rocky. It was a little unsteady. It was something to adapt to, and now that's just how we are. We're pretty well used to it, but burnout occurs, and we're taking steps now to really ensure that if somebody is feeling the effects of burnout, that we try to give them time off or space away so they don't burn themselves out and lose a hobby that they enjoy.
Yeah, one of the key things is for anybody who is joining a group or has a group that you're joining that's interested in doing content creation, do know people lose interest over time. Scheduling conflicts occur. People might move. We had one of our channel, well, aside from me, one of our channel members has moved away from the city, and it makes it increasingly difficult to do in-person recordings because of that. That is part of one of the reasons why we have adapted to doing more webcam, partially so I can actually be in videos.
Yay.
But yeah, that's the type of thing that you'll want to be aware of. Once we started getting to that like scheduled bit, and it's more structured, people start feeling it a little bit more like a job, and that wears on people as well.
When a hobby
right?
becomes an obligation, it is just so much harder to enjoy it. So there's a difference between playing Magic for recording and playing Magic just with your bros.
Yeah, it's a huge difference in how that feels, and we'd love to say that it would always be like it's always recording and just playing with the bros, but a lot of time it is like, yeah, the objective is to make content, and that can change how the recording feels. So you want to be aware of that. You want to try to keep as much fun in it as possible, which is why we started doing a little bit of experimenting with different types of content we wanted to make.
For sure.
We started doing things like the podcast came around.
For sure. One thing that I would like to mention especially about that is, this is all about starting your own channel. If you feel like you are getting to the point of burnout, or you feel like, that might even become a possibility, just have an honest conversation with your play group or your individuals that you're doing this with. And if you're a sole proprietor, don't be afraid to take a step back. You can't, if you force yourself, it's only going to hurt your content, and that's never the goal. Talk to the people in your play group, explain to them, and just take some time off, pursue another hobby in the meantime, or just show up and hang out with them. Don't record. I mean, we have plenty of people in our play group that do that. We'll show up for recording, and they'll come just to be hanging out with us. And in that instance, it's no longer an obligation for that person. So, but more importantly, if you feel like it's happening, you need to talk to somebody and make sure that they know and take a step back.
Yeah. Also, we're doing like taking a break. Very relevant. We've done like 2 experiments with breaks. The first one was winter of 2021. Right? It's both been over winter breaks, primarily. But winter 2021, just like 2 weeks, we didn't post or something like that. It was 1 or 2 weeks we missed, but it wasn't much.
I think it was 3 weeks.
3 weeks? So. Yeah. For anybody who's interested in playing the YouTube algorithm, don't do that. Like, taking breaks, being consistent, like, you need to take a break, but it's like you have to front load your work to make it happen if you really don't want to take a shot to the algorithm. Sucks, but yeah, it definitely hurt our videos coming back. Like, the videos that we did right before Kamigawa Neon Dynasty set release, like, they did not do that
No,
well.
we did. Before we took that break, we were averaging, and we were not anywhere near the subscriber count we were. I think we were averaging 3,000 or 4,000 at that time. We may have hit 5,000, but we were averaging,
Mhm.
7,000 to 9,000 within the first 2 weeks of views, and then
Yep.
took that break. And man, those first couple of videos, it killed us. We dropped to, I think I remember we had a meeting about it. The first two videos coming back almost a month after they were uploaded, they were sitting at 2,000 to 3,000 views per video. And I remember we kind of panicked. We determined, what was going on, and we needed to make some changes. And so in doing so, we kept making content. But I think during that period, you can look back and you might see a real hop and a skip. I think we did some budget. We did some casual videos. We did some CEDH videos. We did a lot of things to really try to get us back in the algorithm's favor, but it did hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, right after that break is when I joined the channel. Like, as an actual member, as opposed to doing a role where it's like, I would occasionally look at decks and, or watch a video ahead of time for judge-related things. Right? But now I'm in recordings, I'm doing things, I'm helping plan things out.
Upgrades, people, upgrades.
You're also our point of
you.
contact for the events that you've been to.
Yeah. So with doing that, this is one of the areas where it's like, okay, we need to be a little bit more sharp on our social media to keep people engaged, and we need to be consistently uploading. In 2022, we did miss that a little bit. There were like 2 weeks, I think, but they were like isolated incidences where we didn't upload for a week. And yes, it did hit the algorithm, but it didn't hit it that bad because we didn't take like 3 weeks off in a row.
Yeah, usually whenever we miss an upload, it's my fault.
It is not.
Those first 3 man, those 3 weeks from winter of 2021, I needed a mental health break. And then like a couple times, you guys were just like, "Hey, do you want a week off?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah. I think you could really mark about July of 2022. I took a month-long break from the channel and kind of I did some things in the shadows. A couple things involved with the channel that I'd rather not say. But I wasn't kind of doing that, but for the most part, I wasn't involved, and that was the point where I think we all realized that we needed to be aware of our own mental health and aware of the breakout. And so there would be times where I'd go up to somebody and be like, "Hey, do you just want to take a little bit of a break?" And I did that to Chandler like 3 times. I was like, "Hey, my man, you are the backbone of this channel. Would you like to take a vacation?" And he was like, "No, yes, thanks, bye." And I was like, "All right, that's fair."
I was gonna say, if you were like, he said yes every time, we're almost gonna be like,
yeah,
bullshit, he did not say yes every time.
There's multiple times that he'd be like, "Oh, I'll just do it next week," and then next week never came. And finally, I had to go out there and see him. I was like, "Chandler, man, take a break." And he's like, "All right, that's fair."
Well, so there was like that week I went on vacation with my family, so I was holding out to be like, "That's what I'm gonna not post." So
That's fair.
But yeah, the way we kind of do that real quick. Jason mentioned we front load a lot of things. If you plan on taking breaks, because nobody wants to work on Christmas week, nobody wants to work on Thanksgiving week, just record more videos. We have a backlog of videos. We try to keep some in the chamber at all times. That is a good advice for anybody that wants to start. Before you start, record videos. Have extra. Don't try. We hit a point in time where we were having to record every week for about a month just to keep up with the videos, and it did not feel the greatest. So record a couple extra videos, keep them in the backlog, and then when it comes time for those weeks where you'd like to take a break, just try to edit 2 videos at once, and then you've got that week off. I mean, if you have the capacity to edit them and keep them in the backlog for in the future, I mean, even better. But that would be my advice, is to record a couple extra and have them in the back pocket.
Absolutely.
which we need to do soon.
We are working on that. This month is so loaded with recording sessions.
A lot of things, a lot of interesting things I think everybody's going to enjoy.
Smooth brain fishing.
Absolutely. All right. And now let's hit it where we think we're at right now. I would call full stride SmoothBrainEDH. Do I think we're in a perfect spot? Absolutely not. We are constantly improving. We're constantly trying to make some changes and tweak things as we see fit.
I feel that no content creator out there is perfect. No content creator is perfect. Nobody's process is perfect. That's just the unfortunate reality of everything. I mean, one great example is the professor at Tulane Community College. I mean, I think he emphasizes that his process is not perfect in any means. And I think everybody really looks up to his channel and how fast it's grown. Mm-hmm. But even Game Nights has said that as well. They still have problems and they still have effects. No process is perfect, but it's striving to make it better every day. Always look at something that can be improved.
There is one particular channel that I really like looking at for benchmarking for like somebody who I think does have their content creation process pretty much down. It is Saffron Olive.
That man is a complete juggernaut.
Neither Saffron nor Olive, however.
Curious, but he's able to pump out like 2 to 3 videos a day at certain points, right? Which is just insane amount of content load. And I don't know exactly what they do for editing, how much he does for it, but they have a system, like MTG Goldfish has a system down for just loading so much content, especially when you start getting into the consideration that he has to make the decks every time he does this, right? He's spending a couple hours on brewing, and then he's got to go through a league or whatever, right? There's a few hours done on that. Sometimes this is streamed. A lot of the time it's not. So how he's pumping out like 10 hours of work every single day to do what he's doing is insane. That is too much for most people, but if you want to benchmark on how it happens, ask him, or like find whenever he has explained what he does. If he just says like, I just like the content and that's how it is, well, then he's built unusual person. He's built different,
man. I mean, he is a juggernaut of just after like a league, I'm fried. After about 5 hours of playing, I'm at peak SmoothBrain moment. And he could just bang 3 of those back to back, and it doesn't seem like he loses any mental efficiency.
Man, I'm fried after like one game.
Yeah. It can get you quick, especially, like, granted, all of us have full-time jobs.
I have a full-time job and
there's a bit of a difference. Yeah. So, like, it gets there. But, again, mention, like, we don't know our limits. We have ideas of, like, when we overload ourselves, but we don't know our limits of our content, so we're still trying things out. We tried the 1v1, for example, with DMU, or Dominaria United, right? We did that one...
Brothers War.
It's not Dominaria United.
Oh, no, it was Brothers War. Yeah,
it
was
Brothers
War.
Sam and Corey.
2 channel members.
Yeah, because we have 2 brothers who are on the channel. That is one of our lower performing videos, but I still think it was a good choice to try it.
It was fun to do, too.
Yeah, it's a type of thing that we want to keep doing, and we want to keep looking for different types of content. Another thing we're doing is, like, we're collabing a lot more.
Yeah, I will say that's one thing that's really helped us is expanding our horizons and collaborating with a lot of different creators. That's something that we did not do in the beginning of the channel's history. And frankly, I think we felt that we didn't have enough subscribers to do that. And Jason here was like, hey, I'm just going to start asking people, and I don't care if they say no to me. And it's grew from there. I mean, we've done a couple different collabs. We've done some with another channel known as Your Dead Next Turn. We've done Phil Gallagher, Brian Koval. I mean, we've done a few, and that's really, I think, that was a big step in our moving forward of our content.
Yeah, and one of the particularly helpful ones as well is just appearing on other people's content. Real talk, all right? Being the guest on somebody else's content, très magnifique.
Especially when you happen to pub stomp them, Jason.
Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry, can I get the story for this?
No.
Okay. I'm missing something.
Same.
We tuned in. Do you remember, what was that last one you appeared on, Jason? Who was that?
Is this Made-nan?
I don't know. I think me and Ethan were hanging out, and we tuned in. We were like, "Oh yeah, Jason's appearing on their such and such's channel." We like tuned in, and we come right in, and you resolved a demonic Pact-Thassa's Oracle in one, and we were like, "Okay, that's about right." And I think we tuned right out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If you're doing your own content creation stuff, always keep in mind, working with other content creators is great. We're going to go into more detail on this in a bit, but the important thing here is being on other people's channel takes a lot of pressure off of you. A lot of people are very happy to have other people, particularly streamers who are a solo or a duo act, particularly love having people who will come onto their channel. It gives them a boon because they get people in your sphere to come over and visit them. It's very helpful for them. And in your case, you also get to be exposed to their content and what they do. It's just mutually beneficial for both groups to just show up on other people's channels and do stuff. Don't overstay your welcome, of course. If people invite you, please go. But, don't force yourself onto somebody else's channel. But playing the host is also very good. We're doing that. I'm not going to say, who we have lined up currently, but we have 3 collabs planned this month alone. And they're going to be on our channel for this one. And we're very happy to have that, and it's something that's going to be beneficial for us, but also a breath of fresh air just to play with some different people.
It's also worth noting, sometimes you're going to have people, if back to the aspect of starting your own channel, sometimes you're going to have people that collaborate with you or you collaborate with them, and sometimes the way they play may not be the way you play, and it's a challenge sometimes. Some people don't like putting out their deck's power. Some people don't brew till the day of, and that's a super big problem for us. I know our channels, we like to know what we're playing before we get on the stream or the video with the other person. We like to know what they're playing so we can gauge to make sure that we have a really good video, because nobody wants to get in there and watch somebody play Brea with Paradox Engine against Tariel or something like that. I don't know where that.
Don't worry about that.
I don't know where that comes from. That's just 2 commanders off the top of my head. But that is something you definitely want to know. It is difficult. You need to be very adaptable. You need to know that not everybody's going to play the same as you, and not everybody's going to have the same process as you. So that's definitely something to watch out for when you start collaborating.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've been very, very, very fortunate to not have bad collabs. We've had very, very good collaborations. It's been hiccupy here and there, but for the most part, it's been very, we've been very lucky because we've heard some horror stories about collaborations that have just been awful.
Yeah, we're pretty selective on who we work with. That's partially because of limitations on time to just go and reach out with people and figure out what they're doing and what we're willing to commit to. But also some of it is, and this is very important, do research who you're getting involved with.
Yes, for sure. That is the number one thing. Do your research on them.
You may run into a channel that has 50 subscribers. They're not a big channel. You have no information to work with. And that's on you if you decide you want to work with them. Generally speaking, small channels like that are fine to work with early on. But you may also run into a channel that's medium size, say you got 2,000 subscribers, and you don't know enough information on them, and try to build up that social network, get some mutuals, get some opinions on is this person worth working with? Is there anything I need to be worried about? We almost got by one of them. But we're careful about it to make sure that we don't end up with somebody that you just do not want to be working with, either because they're not going to treat you well or because they have some stances that you do not want to be associated with. Hey everyone, this is Jason. I'm doing a little bit of an unscripted bit here because I need to provide some context going into the next clip. The next clip was recorded shortly after Magic on Philly. I think it's the immediate week following it. And we had some news that came after some news came out of that event of a content creator that we talk about in this next section. This is a trigger warning for people for sexual assault. Josh from Mind Muscle Magic is accused of sexually assaulting people while at MagicCon Philly. I was unaware of that. Obviously, we condemn his actions, but I do think it is important to note that some of the business things that he was doing were things that I'm still looking at from a benchmarking standpoint as being relevant or useful to a channel and something that you can learn from. It is unfortunate that the individual behind it is a terrible person, but apologies for some of the people who might not want to hear that information or who aren't happy with Mind Muscle Magic being mentioned. I do sincerely apologize, but this was recorded well before we knew that information. All right. And also talking about working with content creators, we mentioned before, like, we've mentioned a lot of content creators that we admire and we've worked with, or that we think do a very, very good job. Absolutely benchmark yourself off of other content creators. If you're here listening to us right now, you're doing it. Like, get their opinions, see what they're doing, see what you can take from it. Like, I just got back from MagicCon Philly. Like, that was last week as of the recording of this video. While I was there, I met Daquan Watson and Josh from Mind Muscle Magic. Two people who I have not interacted with that much, but I was somewhat aware of. Both of them have just been very inspirational individuals to work with. Like, they have a lot of good ideas. They're doing a lot of really cool things, right? Like, one of the things we're going to be doing, like, Daquan Watson, he has tokens that he uses as business cards that he just gives out to people. Yeah. SmoothBrain business cards that are tokens on the way. We're doing that.
I would say there's nothing wrong with benchmarking other creators to yourself, because if you don't have anything to strive for, then are you really pushing yourself? What are you really doing? What's your end goal? You need to have an end goal in mind before you even start the journey realistically. And it's not just solely the content creation aspect. I mean, you need to be looking out and benchmarking yourself to other individuals and seeing what they do. If they're using their platform for good, if they're using their voice for good, there's so many different aspects of content creation that's more than just make a video, post a video, get money. Very nice. There's so much more than just that. Mm-hmm. And we, like you said, Jason, we compare ourselves to a lot of creators, and there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, with figuring out what works for them and seeing if it works for you, because I know we view people that do that to us and benchmark us. We want nothing but the best for those individuals. We want nothing but to lift people up and to continue to inspire people to do the same thing, because, I mean, that's all we were. We were a group of people who were inspired by channels like Playing with Power, and we wanted to do this. So that's something very, very dear to us that I would definitely recommend. Find some people, benchmark yourself, constantly compare yourself, and not with a negative aspect to it, because it definitely is a line in which you have to stop. You don't want to become obsessive. You don't want to hurt your own mental health, but comparing yourself and growing is a good and necessary thing. I think you need to have a successful channel.
Yeah, absolutely. Chandler, we haven't gotten you chatting too much. Is there anything you want to say in this section? Because I definitely want to get your voice a little more.
I was actually about to tune up and be like, sorry I haven't said so much, guys. I don't actually watch that much Magic content. A lot of the people we collab with, I don't actually know them that well. It's weird because I am the editor. I make the content. Really, whenever we're talking in our meetings and stuff, you guys kind of just tell me, hey, we should do this. And I go, okay. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
We keep you locked in a dungeon, and that's about it.
Please let me out. Yeah,
I gave you a nice little water feeder, the one that you can put your mouth to it and you just it lets a little bit out, push the ball in.
The
it's
little
great.
Hamster water. Oh heck yeah! And my little food pellets. Heck, thanks guys. Upgrades. No, but
your food's actual food. I don't know what those pellets are. Don't eat those.
There are a few content creators that I do recognize. You know, everybody knows Playing with Power. Threeben You, I used to watch him a lot whenever we played Legacy. So when you guys were like, he's coming on, I was like, what?
We did it.
Yeah. But like other than that, I don't know too many people. I did watch a little bit of MTG Mud still whenever we first started. But yeah, no. As the content creator, I don't know too much about other content creators, which is kind of ironic.
I mean, one of the things that a lot of content creators will tell you is they don't have time to watch content,
Exactly.
so it makes sense. And there's one other important thing that a lot of people will ask about, sponsorships. I'm gonna be frank with you, we don't have that down perfectly. We're still absolutely exploring the options when it comes to things like sponsors. But we do have a little bit of input that we can do for it. Do you want to talk about some of the guys that we started with or who we've looked at for potential sponsors and what we have currently?
Yeah, let's start out with our best buddy, Jonas from Dragon Shield. He's awesome. He emails us all the time, send us stuff. We flex the merch. I'm flexing right now. You can't see me. But yeah, no, he's awesome. Dragon Shield's awesome. We did that sleeve video for them. I got to play Blood Red. Every deck that I build, I use a Blood Red sleeve to sleeve my commander in it. Dragon Shield makes some great. Now I'm just doing my sponsorship job. Being like, wow, Dragon Shield's great.
Thank you, Daddy Dragon Shield.
We're also with Inked Gaming. They haven't done too much when it comes to like actually contacting us, but we do have the affiliate link, and us here, we use them a lot. You've probably seen a lot of Inked Gaming playmats on videos. Shout out to my One Piece playmat. Jason loves One Piece.
Absolutely.
But yeah, those are the two main ones that we have. We have had talks about Raid Shadow Legends before, seeing if they wanted to, but we ultimately decided that that's probably not the best idea.
Yeah, it's like, what do you want out of your sponsorship is an important thing. We're a channel that's not really interested in going deep on full-time and maximizing our profit. We wouldn't mind getting a little bit more because it enables more things, right? Like, I mentioned that going to Philly, for example, I wouldn't have been able to go to Philly without some of the channel proceeds. That's what our patrons are paying for, basically.
Thank you, guys.
For us to be able to go. Yes, we're able to make merch because of the proceedings that we get. We're able to pay for our stupid printers because God, do we need so much ink?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's what this is primarily doing for us, and that's really, really important to us to have that. So, would we take more sponsors? Yeah. Affiliate links. I'll be real with you guys. Affiliate links are kind of iffy. They don't do a lot for you, but if you start developing a dedicated fan base, you will actually start seeing your affiliate link get used. In which case, they're worth applying for. They may not always be worth bringing up in your videos as like free advertisement, as much as just they're there, so people can use them if they want to. And now, this is our channel, this is where we're at, but a very important question I have for these two founding members of the channel is, if you could start over again, what would you change?
I mean, so, as I stated before, I did, when we were experimenting with cameras and recording techniques and whatnot, I did buy an entire gaming laptop. Jason, I think the first time you ever recorded with us was before you moved. And you saw that goofy ass laptop setup, right?
Yeah.
That is gone. It only like worked on half of the videos. I don't know why it would do
all the
this.
ones I was
in. Yeah,
in.
it would corrupt videos. It was so annoying. And that made there was like a big period of panic where we were like, all right, we got these videos because I am stupid. Here's another thing. Look at all your footage before you start editing one. Yeah, because when I was doing that stupid laptop setup, I would just record it, and I'd be like, all right, which one do I want to edit this week? This one. I'd click on it, it'd be like stuttery, framey, blurry, and I'm like, oh no! So yeah, that's something I would do. I'm trying to think. I guess one thing we could do is reach out to sponsors and collabs way earlier if we could start over. I'd kick Cody out of the group from the start.
This man decided the channel name without your permission. I mean, come on.
Hey, I pitched that idea, so I wasn't very upset. I was like, hey,
You
That was
can't
mine.
Good
remove
work.
the jester of SmoothBrainEDH. It's impossible.
Oh yes, that's another. Thank you for reminding me. Our like 1,000 subscribers special or something like that. When you announced the giveaway and that stupid Mardi Gras mask,
I still
I
have it.
changed that. Go get it. No, I'm joking. Um,
I could
Here's the
probably get
time.
it.
I think I don't know. I think ultimately I would also have us experiment with different types of content as well instead of just gameplay. I know for a while there we discussed deck techs and stuff like that as well. I think we could have done pack openings if we were a little more organized about it, instead of just posting one and giving up because it was kind of a messy video. We literally just there were 4 of us opening packs at the same time. I feel like if we do pack opening videos, we would have to do it as one person opening one pack every time.
Yep.
We can do that. In fact, Sam, another member of the channel, he did at one point send me a video of him opening packs, and I was planning on doing a pack opening video of that, but I never did. I'm so sorry, Sam. If you're listening to this, I love you.
Patreon rewards. We're gonna send that out as a free video. Have fun.
Yeah.
One thing I would suggest, playing with perfect information that I know now, I like Chandler said, it would definitely be to change a little bit of the philosophy. I think I would like to have started out our recordings much more organized, like we are now. And the content one, I think it's hit or miss. You know, I think I would have liked to have tried it a little better than what we did, but there's always the future, so I'm not really gonna harp on that one too much. It's just the philosophy and how we organized ourselves in the beginning is definitely what I would change. I would try to find the perfect balance between professional, organized, and still trying to keep that friendly group fun aspect. That's something that I think would have been a little bit better if we could have done that.
Yeah. And also, one of the things, this isn't a, like, changing anything. It's a keep in mind mistakes will be made. You're going to learn from it. You'll have a video that doesn't do well. That's fine. You learn from it. You have a collab that you didn't like doing. You learn from it. You have a video where you pair Atraxa versus Elishnorn and the Atraxa deck doesn't do anything. You learn from it, right? Like,
You get a really
SmoothBrain.
mean comment, and it makes you cry.
We have hid behind the SmoothBrain shield so often
so
for our own
much.
mistakes.
Rude
It
comment.
really works out.
We're just smooth brains.
I'll say this.
Whoopsie.
I'll say this. Your rude comments that people leave on videos often get translated into our Discord usernames. That is an ongoing tradition that we do.
Currently, wants to
Currently,
bring up Cameron's hands.
I was about to say, currently we have Baby Hand Cam in our Discord. For those individuals who've been with us a long time, going back to Kaldheim, there's a particular video in which I made an agreement with somebody and then promptly betrayed them the next turn
Immediately.
with a very large snack. And some guy in the comments called me Oathbreaker. And like real, like never seen grass kind of guy. I mean, I feel like that was worded right out of an anime script. He's an Oathbreaker. Like, dude, come on, man. But that has been my username for quite some time now. Your mean comments, we read all the comments, but those often get translated into Discord usernames for us.
Yeah, they're fun.
We don't take them to heart too badly. We do appreciate if people aren't like toxic, but also sometimes you guys just come up with something that's hilarious and Stinky Brat Cameron is now the thing, right? Like
Stinky Brat Cameron,
Baby Hand Cam is what it is now.
That's the current one. I will say this.
Go put that comment on screen. It is too funny.
I will say this. There is one aspect I think I'd like to talk about a little bit more that we kind of avoided. I don't know if we avoided I don't think we did it by intention. I think it was just we glossed over it. How to handle criticism.
Oh yeah.
Bad criticism, I'd say.
Yeah, I love all of our viewers, except for Armored Duck. Whoever you are, I have a problem with you. Every other one, if you don't like our content, that's fine. Our content may not be the best for you. It may not be something you like. Some people love it. Some people, it's not their thing, and that's totally fine. You're not going to please everyone. Don't take those comments to heart. Some people have nothing better to do but to sit there and comment and be negative, or they feel that they're 10 times better, man. You're like, you're reading a comment and the guy on the other screen thinks he's Reed Duke. I mean, sometimes that's just the case, and they think they're better, and they have to like extrapolate and explain it to you. Don't give any weight to those comments. If people want to give you good criticism, I always take good criticism. I always try to reflect and think about it, but don't let the toxic comments get to you. We have very few every so often. I think the most we ever had was when we played CEDH with Thalia, Thassa's Oracle. Sorry, no, why I said Thalia.
Mm-hmm.
Thassa's Oracle. Man, that card is bad. If you're planning on starting a channel, just know when you win with Thassa's Oracle, they will not like you.
You will never hear the end of it.
Dude, there's always going to be something that somebody doesn't like in a video.
I feel like they just don't like that card more than any card before.
Oh, to be fair, that's one of my least favorite cards, and I am on the ban Thassa's Oracle train.
Yeah,
but,
obligatory fuck Thassa's Oracle.
Yeah, obligatory fuck Thassa's Oracle. We agree with you. I'm also the guy who plays it the most on the channel, so I agree with you.
It's CEDH. If there's a busted card, you're going to play it.
Everybody played
exactly.
Flash Hulk. I mean, and everybody hated Flash Hulk, but just don't let them get to you. Don't let toxic comments get to you.
Speaking of toxic comments, just like last week or 2 weeks ago, on our second video for Phyrexia All Will Be One, right? We had an Azuri win. Spoilers.
Hey, that was
Poison is what Poison is what killed the table. And one of the comments was, God, I don't want to see a game with Poison in it again. And we had another comment that was, it's so boring when somebody wins without ever having to attack. And no, there was the threat. It was visible. People undervalued the threat, but it was there. Man. There's good story here still.
I even killed someone through regular combat damage, too.
I don't want to watch somebody win with Infect. Dang, bro, turn the TV off then.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
If you see it, you're like, I bet he wins with this. Click off the video. We've got 100 other ones that don't have Infect in it. I'd be more than happy to show you a different one.
Yeah, that was our first Infect video ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I was playing,
unless we have to Triumph in the Horde one time maybe, but that's it.
We didn't have to mark it though because it was like a finisher.
Yeah. If I played Skithrix Skittles in one with Infect, I would expect the comment section to be the worst, just because it is Infect and everybody knows what it was. But keep in mind, this was one of the newer sets, and this was something new that everybody wanted to see and we'd like to try. So you can't expect that. And I think we've had comments like that before on other things where Winota, I think, was played and people were like, oh, stack pieces or stacks decks or control decks. Everybody has a bad experience with some deck from their local game store or something. I mean, me personally, I hate Miracles. I got absolutely trashed the first time I played against Miracles at a Legacy event. So now when I see Sensei's Divining Top, sorry, Shelby, I laser focus in and I will kill that top player because of what it's done to me. Just keep in mind that the comments that are being made, they are there for a reason, but don't give weight to the toxic comments, because for every toxic comment, you're going to have a, hey guys, where did you buy that playmat comment?
Logan,
how many times?
Where did you get that playmat? Logan,
where did you get that playmat? Same place.
Shout out to Robbo for making that comment every goddamn video.
Logan hasn't even been in the last 3 videos, and Robbo is on top of it every time.
We appreciate you, Robbo.
I bought one of those playmats just to play for him.
But
yeah,
eBay's the answer.
eBay is the answer. Yeah, we appreciate it. People who give comments anyway. Yes, we had to complain a little bit in here. It wouldn't be a WrinklyBrainEDH podcast if I didn't talk about something that's worth complaining about. But either way, we appreciate y'all very much. And you know what else we appreciate? Thank you all very much for watching another episode of the Wrinkly Brain podcast. If you'd like to see edited gameplay videos, check out our main channel, SmoothBrainEDH. We upload every Saturday, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Give us a comment and let us know what you think, especially if you hate Toxic. And if you'd like to talk to us directly, feel free to join our Discord, and if you're interested in supporting us financially, we've got our Patreon, we've got Redbubble, we've got affiliate links. All those links are directly in the description or in our link tree. This has been Jason with Cody and Chandler. Thank you all for watching and have a great day.
Fare thee well.